Hello there.
A little dark. That's a little better. After yesterday, I'm gonna take a little bit more time to relax. My calves are so sore. I have not run in so long, and I have not swam in years. Overall, I did pretty much almost exactly how I thought I would do. I did 80 minutes. Now the breakdown was a little different than what I thought it would be, but I survived the swim, which is hilarious. I had to take Dave's wetsuit after he finished his part of the swim. The queue to go swim was so long, and we didn't think about this until after Dave was in the water. Dave had no idea I was taking his suit. Thanks, Dave. Much appreciated. Yeah, it was just survive the swim, get everything else done. The times were pretty atrocious on the swim. I did 18 minutes for 7:50. Good time was, probably about 11:30. T1 transition, the first transition, horrendously slow because I had to deal with wetsuit for the first time. Didn't have my shoes or anything in the right place because I wasn't able to go back to my bike because they closed the transition area a minute before I got there. Getting out on the bike, it was fine. I was using my bike that I've been using all year for commuting, and it has terrible gear switching, terrible gears. I did change the handlebar tape, so that made me feel fast. Didn't have tri-bar, so I was leaning over the handlebars, trying to get as aero as possible. Transition 2, it was okay. It was a little on the slower side because of jelly legs, and the run actually went fairly well. I started off a little slow. It was a little bit uphill, to be fair. I got so much faster as the run went on because I got into my old running form. Having been a runner in high school, I knew I need to make up time on the run, so I pushed it as hard as I could after almost drowning in the swim and then biking as hard as I could for 40 minutes. So turns out the run was only about 4K, which is kind of weird, which is why my time was so fast, but I'll take it. It wasn't a true sprint distance. Whatever, who's counting? Just ridiculous. So it took me 80 minutes. It took the best guys between 55 and 65 minutes. So I was very, very average. Middle of the pack, almost exactly halfway on results. That's all thanks to just being in shape from rowing. I have done a triathlon before, almost 5 years ago to the date, triathlon that my aunt was doing, and I was like, oh, I want to do that too. So I did it right before going to college to give me something to do all summer. Was trained for that. I went from not being able to swim a lap to being able to swim a mile without stopping. Granted, super slow mile. I did finish the swim, no assistance needed, so that's nice. But yeah, I got a medal out of it. It's a participation trophy. I finished after deciding to do the triathlon the day before. And what's great is my GoPro is waterproof, so I did have the in-water footage, even though most of it, I only got the beginning and the end because I was dying for 90% through it. I think Lorcan has a video of me swimming by. I had my arm up in the air waving to him. Oh, it was so funny. So I did have to borrow swim goggles from Dave. My scuba diving ones that I used to search for the GoPro were not exactly fast. So, oh man. Just some good crack, and I'm really glad I did it because it broke up the training. As Cam Buchan always says, variation is a key to motivation. I definitely, if I were to train triathlon, I think I would do really, really well. The plan always after rowing was transition to Ironman. In general, it just seems like it'd be a lot of fun. After this, now I'm really getting mentally back into rowing. Kind of had a pretty rough 4 weeks there of training, motivation, finishing up the job, and just transitioning into the next stage of life. A rocky road, but I think I'm doing much, much better. The videos kind of fell off for a bit. Apologies, but people understand when I mentioned that, it's just been some long, terrible nights of no sleep, and it's just a vicious cycle. Hopefully, when this goes out, I'll be back on it. I've taken Sunday off after triathlon to edit videos, to get some rest, to really start dialing myself back in. This past week was a lot more fun for me because I started lifting with a real plan that Rob set out for me. Just having any kind of direction has helped. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. He's got the goal to get me to 80 kilos. So we'll see how that works. I used to be able to weigh in at lightweight with a backpack on. So these next few weeks, you know, just preparing for Trinity Business School essentially. So I start that September 16th. I never thought I'd be going back to school. I will be flying home for about 10 days in a week's time, so getting some time back home with the family, you know, the rest of the family. Then back over here and getting back in shape and preparing for the school season, growing season, the next stage of my life. So, interestingly enough, because I will be a student at Trinity, the option to row for Trinity is now open. So that is something that I can consider. Now there are a lot of pros and cons to rowing for Trinity, and there's a lot of pros and cons to continuing to row for commercial. That's just how it works. So now I have some interesting decisions to make, and I'll probably make them in a couple weeks, you know, when I really figure out what my life is going to be like at Trinity, because that's, you know, a huge unknown that I have no idea what it's going to be like. You know, there's a lot of people pushing me both ways. So there's going to be some kind of vlog about my decision and listing the pros and cons of each, and then I'll probably put on my sunglasses deciding between the two. This one will be Trinity, or this one's commercial, or this one's Trinity. So I'll probably do something stupid and funny like that. Well, that's pretty much it. That's all I've got for now. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Like, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff. And, you know, if anyone has noticed the end screens, it's now a lot easier for you to go on to the next video instead of going back to click for another one. And, you know, it's little things. I will continue to work on all that stuff. So I'm gonna cut it off before I start talking about some weird stuff. So, see ya.